Oh, good morning. Let me fix this light. There. Now I'm not glared out. Good morning and welcome to this little chit chat from freezing downtown Crestline in the San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California's Inland Empire. We have snow on the ground. It fell Sunday and Monday, and it hasn't melted yet. See, over the course of the day, it kind of gets slushy, and then overnight it refreezes as crunchies, basically ice. Well, hi, Philip. Let me get into the chat here. Philip Blair is in the house. Let's see, he's a 2L Philip. Oh, darn, with the light off, I can't see my keyboard. Hi, Howard. But with the light on, I'm all washed out by the glare. Oh well, I'm going to turn it on and just be washed out so I can see I can kind of see the keyboard. Let's move the lamp if I can. That's a little better. Yes, I know I need to put the lamp behind me. My back has been totally killing me. Totally. Yeah, I broke it twice, and the doctor says I have another year of healing to go, and it might never be the same. He doesn't understand. It's always been bad. When I was a teenager, Mom always said I was lazy, and I didn't know that other people didn't have that kind of back pain. And Mom never took us to the doctor unless she couldn't stop the bleeding. Except the time when she wanted to put me on tranquilizers. Every time I disagreed with her, it was, "Did you take your pill?" And she kind of sounded like that. And I'd say, "Yes, I took my pill." And she would say, "Well, go take another one." Honking horn out there. Not at my house. Happy Thursday. Well, my internet and I are getting along. And frankly, I've been sleeping so much since I had COVID that this is the first day that I finally woke up early instead of sleeping in till almost noon after napping for a good part of the day. Okay, I had the first symptoms on January 9. And the most recent time that I had been out of the house was this Friday the 6th at the grocery store, so that must be where I caught it. Oh, sorry about your dad, Philip. His dad broke his back 20 years ago. My dad broke his back in 1961 or 2. I think, yeah, it must have been 62. Honking horns is annoying. Mom always told me when I was a teenager, if a boy just pulls up and honks his horn, you are not going out there. He has to come to the door and knock. Well, anyway, where was I? You go take another one. She was trying to control me with tranquilizers just because I disagreed with her about something. Well, I don't take pills if I can avoid it. Yeah, I probably had hyperactivity and ADHD, but when I was a child in school, they just said sit down and be quiet and do your work. Well, I was a nervous wreck my whole childhood because of mom. My older brother confirms it. If we didn't break any of her rules, she'd make up a new one that we had already broken. The devil's sister. Anyway, um, I've just started using cod liver oil in capsules. I've been told that it doesn't taste bad, but my dad didn't like it. He wouldn't eat cod because he associated it with the cod liver oil that his mother made him take a spoonful every day. So whenever we had cod, because it was on sale, mom would tell him it was shark steak. Running helped you. Yeah, I hate that. Children don't need to sit at a desk all day. No wonder they go wild when you let them out on the playground. Anyway, um, I like cod. I don't have that association, but just in case I don't like cod liver oil, I got it in capsules. It has vitamins A and D and omega 3. Some experts say that it also has some vitamin K in it. I don't know, it isn't listed on the ingredients. It's kind of hard to read, but because it's got a big old, oh, it isn't a scratch, it's glue from a label they took off of it. They just lists what is that? Calories. Who cares? Five 5% of your daily value calories. Anyway, vitamin A, vitamin D, and two types of omega 3 fatty acids. Oh, Howard has heard that you can get canned cod livers, but he hasn't found them yet. Well, yeah, I imagine eating the whole liver would be really great, but I'll stick with chicken livers. I love chicken livers. Today, though, I'll be having pulled pork with some of that yummy barbecue sauce that they try to discourage you from using because it has a lot of sugar. But I don't care. Pulled pork is not the same without a sauce. And I don't like the sugar free sauces, they're bitter. Yeah, chicken liver has all kinds of good stuff. They say that beef liver has more of it, but I like chicken livers. I will eat beef liver if I cook it myself. I've had some bad experiences getting liver and onions at restaurants. Most fry cooks don't know how to make it. The major thing you want to do is soak it for 3 to 5 minutes in cold water or even better, cold milk. Then pat it dry with your paper towels Oop, sorry, hiccups coming. Uh, and then grill it on low heat, low to medium heat, not the hottest you can make it. And do not make it brown all the way through. Liver stays pink after it's fully cooked. And if you cook it till it's totally brown, you have shoe leather. Oh, I love liver. It's one of the few things Mom never cooked because she hated liver. There were a few things that she could cook and they were good. Like a poor man's lasagna, instead of the expensive cheeses, she used jack cheese and cottage cheese on the inside and just sprinkled Parmesan from a can on top. But it was good. But basically, I don't think she ever learned how to cook. Her mother, Granny, probably tried to teach her, but Mom was super hyperactive and ADHD. When she was a toddler, her mother got this little harness that's to keep you in the high chair at mealtime. She had to be tied into the high chair or she would jump down instead of staying there to eat. And she sewed little bells onto the harness and had Mom wearing it all the time because otherwise she wouldn't know where she was. She ran around so much. Mom even ran outside to play when she had scarlet fever, and the whole house was quarantined. My grandfather couldn't even go to work. Ah, Philip likes broccoli and green peppers. I hope you mean bell peppers, not the hot ones. Oh well, it's your tummy, not mine. Well, I like broccoli well enough, especially if you just blanch it but not cook it, shove it into ice water, and then cut it up real small and make like a coleslaw with broccoli instead of cabbage. By the way, there's a really good coleslaw recipe in my cookbook. It's a thin little, cheap little paperback on Amazon. But Dad's second wife, Nita, gave me the instructions for making the best coleslaw. In the restaurants, they pretty much dump everything in a bowl: the shredded cabbage, salt, sugar, vinegar, kind of toss it a little, and then add mayonnaise. And they keep adding and adding and adding because the coleslaw is still dry. The way Nita made it, you can get away with a very tiny amount of mayonnaise, and some people are concerned about how much mayonnaise they eat. I don't care. I need to gain weight. So, anyway, um, you add the salt, toss it, and let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes. Then you add the vinegar, toss it, and let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes. Then you add the sugar, and it can be as little as 1 tablespoon for a half of a cabbage head. It's to taste. You add the sugar, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, and there should be liquid building up in the bottom of the bowl. So you taste the liquid to see if you want more salt or more vinegar or more sugar. It's your coleslaw. You make it the way you like it. And when you like the taste, you get the mayonnaise and add as little or as much as you want. Your cabbage has wept, it weeps out liquid. And there's nothing quite like the taste of the juice from a cabbage. It's really good stuff. These restaurants either buy it already made or mess it up by just tossing everything together all at once. And it just isn't the same because the cabbage was not allowed to weep. Now I've pretty much told you the recipe in my book. Oh well. Let's see. Philip is sad about something. Oh, broccoli sad? You like broccoli with cheese? I don't like the cheese sauces they put on vegetables. Partly because mom always used that. Oh, it came in a little glass jar, and you could keep the jar as a little tiny drinking cup. Poor cabbage weeping. I see. Thank you, Philip. Um, by the way, I'm in Great Granny's rocking chair. That's why I'm moving back and forth. Um, what was that called? Cheese whip or something? Anyway, it's like plastic cheese. You dump it in a saucepan with some milk and flour and stir it and bring it to a boil. And that isn't real cheese. Oh, just shredded cheese from a cheddar block. Now that's good stuff. Cheese whiz. Thank you, Howard. Yeah, for a while when I was first married, I would use the cheese that comes in a spray can. It didn't have much pressure to it, but you'd turn it upside down and push the little um, straw thing that stuck out the top to get cheese out. But I had to pull off the first bit that came out because it had turned into concrete. Now I eat real cheese, all kinds of cheese. And that's why I fired my nutritionist, that and other things. She joined the cult of no wheat and no dairy, not even butter and cheese. And I'm not giving up cheese for anything. Yeah, I can still drink milk, it doesn't bother me. But I wonder what they're feeding the cows because even though I love a good beef steak, I cannot digest it. It isn't worth the misery that comes later. Chicken in a biscuit crackers. At the moment, I have some better cheddars and some Ritz. Better cheddars are getting hard to find, especially at the smaller grocery stores that are not big corporate chains. The shortages are weird. Like, I couldn't get the kibble that my cats like. They didn't have Friskies in any flavor except in an 18-pound bag. So I usually cut a slice of cheddar cheese, put it on a Ritz cracker, and add a pickle. Sometimes a sweet pickle, sometimes a dill. Depends upon the mood that I'm in. Oh, and I've rediscovered kosher dill pickles and olives. I had forgotten about them. Started eating them again. I try to get expert advice on food, but the experts don't agree with each other. So I'm kind of stuck with eating what I like except beef. I don't know why I can't digest it. Anyway, the other thing the crazy nutritionist did was extremely low fat. I mean, almost none, but lots of fiber and not enough calories. The diet she laid out would certainly make me lose weight after I told her I need to gain weight. Uh, yeah, there is organic grass fed beef available, but I can't afford it. I, I, I'm better off to just quit eating beef because of the cost. And prices in California are outrageous. On January 15, the gas company notified me by email that the rates were going up. Well, they actually went up on January 1st. So 2 weeks later, when it was too late, they advised me to conserve. Apparently, they sold a whole bunch of their natural gas to foreign countries. So now there's a shortage, and the price is more than double. I don't know. I set the thermostat at 60 and the heater never shuts off because it's 20 degrees outside and 40 inside. Trade beer for jam? Oh, beef. Okay. Well, I can't make much jam because of my back. There are times when I can barely walk and I have trouble getting to the bathroom in time. A few months ago, I had to call 911 because I could not get up. I was in the recliner chair and I could not get up. And they took me to the ER, and after hours and hours, a CT scan showed that I had more cracked vertebrae and another compressed disc. Oh, we could afford to um, export natural gas if we were allowed to drill for it. The federal government is nuts. They issued land leases for petroleum, you know, oil wells, but they refused to issue permits to actually drill on that land. So, like, the companies are paying for land leases that they can't use. It's like that shell game where which cup is the pea underneath? Oh, interesting. Someone put a red cone in front of my house. Oh, and there's a road sign, some kind of construction. I think they're actually taking down dead trees. Do you see my kitty cat? Yes, that's Tora. Say hi to your adoring fans. Say hello. She's on top of her penthouse. Yes, aren't you? Okay. She wants her treats. That's all she lives for is kitty cat treats. Yeah. You idiot. Well, she's got me trained. She doesn't want to eat treats in her penthouse. She wants them down here. Oh, she wants me to open a can. That figures. I actually have one can left, and Goodwin's Market is delivering more today. All right, hang on. Let's go. I'll be right back. Cat service. Yes, dear. All right. Here you go. Here you go. Oh, I got yucky on my fingers. No, they're just cold, I think. Eat it or don't, Tora. I'm sick of this. Ah, there's a natural gas lobby following you on Twitter. Well, I would write to the politicians in Sacramento and DC, but I don't think they listen to us. I think I will anyway. This is absolutely ridiculous. California wants to ban home appliances that use natural gas, and they already have banned them in new construction. People will die. In my community and in urban communities all over the state, electricity is not reliable. It will go down for days or even weeks in the middle of a winter storm with temperatures below freezing. Um, some people are able to burn wood in the fireplace so they don't die, but that's a lot more pollution than a heater that uses natural gas. Plus, the fireplace will not prevent your water pipes from freezing and bursting. And I envision a widespread disaster from hundreds or even thousands of water pipes freezing and bursting. It does help to leave the faucet dripping, but that wastes water. Hi, Jason. Yeah, my internet and I are finally getting along this morning. Ugh. Wow. I gotta wash my hair. It's got a life of its own now. Next, it'll stand up and walk away. Uh, so anyway, it's good to be back with my wonderful chat room. Yeah. Oh, you're on the Columbia River. Yeah, hydroelectric is great. We have some wind farms in California, and of course, a lot of solar panels, but they are not producing enough, and they can't. I mean, so the wind farms work when the wind is blowing, and sometimes they have to shut them down because they're making too much power and it could put the grid on the fritz. Solar panels, I can't see it where I live because one fallen tree branch would destroy them. And there are many parts of California where simply a snow load, like here, could turn off your solar panels. And if you put a big array of solar panels out in the desert somewhere, it harms wildlife and it takes up so much land. The desert is not like a bunch of sand dunes here. It has life, plants and animals. Let's see. Oh, Jason has to go to DoorDash. Well, I'm glad you're able to do that. This will replay. I'm abiding by YouTube's rules, I think. Uh, ah. Yahoo and other big companies have their own little source of electricity. Server farms, the cloud. Oh, I see. They go to areas where electricity is cheap. Oh, and by the way, our electric rates went up, but not as drastically as the gas rates. And here I was with COVID. I had to keep the house warm. And you can get a medical lifeline of gas service for some medical condition that I never heard of, but not for COVID and not for a broken back. And believe me, heat is the way to treat this broken back. It helps to promote healing. Once in a great while, an ice pack doesn't kill me, but heat really works. That and Ben Gay. Oh, well, I'm glad you're successful, Jason. Okay, let me type. Oops. Okay. I've never used DoorDash or similar services. I took an Uber and a Lyft because my insurance company provided them as rides to medical appointments. They were quite nice. Uh, Ugh, that evil back. Tora, you're being a brat. Now she's looking out the window or the glass in the door. Don't know what she sees. My poor cats haven't been outside since October. It's been that cold. A couple times Tora ran outside, but she came right back in. Yeah, Tora's always hunting. She's the great gray and black striped hunter. Huh, kitty? And no bug can live in this house. But what I don't like is when she catches usually a field mouse or a kangaroo rat and brings it in while it's alive and puts it down so it'll run so she can chase it some more. I have rescued critters from her, mostly lizards. Lizards are easier to catch, and I don't use my bare hands. But usually she just catches the lizard's tail. Some lizards can detach their tails, and the tail keeps flopping around for a few minutes. So Tora couldn't kill her lizard tail, so she put it in her water dish and tried to drown it. That's kind of smart, but I know that you can't drown a tail. Oh well. I just hope she doesn't run into a rattlesnake or something deadly. Yesterday morning I went outside for a few minutes, and there were these cat footprints coming in through the gap in my gate, and outside the gate were these huge dog paw prints. Dog or possibly coyote. I think a big dog. So I'm glad the cat was able to duck in here and survive. Yep, yep. Philip saw the cartoon where the whole house is wrecked, things are knocked over and broken, and the cat is still chasing the flies. The fly saying, "Don't worry, I've almost got it." Oh, okay. Oh, she's finally eating her canned food. I hope she doesn't decide that's the only brand she'll eat. It's one of those fancy, expensive ones. It was all I could get at the gas station, and as far as I could possibly walk. Just around the corner, end of my street, round the corner, and then around the second corner. That's all they had. Uh, ah, she won't eat 9 lives, and I don't blame her. 9 lives used to be pretty good cat food. Not anymore. I don't think Morris would like it. Morris the cat. That was quite a great story. They rescued this big orange cat from the pound, the animal control facility, and he ended up being a big star in 9 Lives commercials. And everybody was naming their cats Morris. Canned food is for heathens. Bring me some fresh cut venison. Yeah, I imagine Tora is saying that, but she probably says, "Bring me a mousey." I don't like the cats kill things, but where we are now, because of all the people living here now, we've pushed out many natural predators, and the pet cats are just replacing them. Like bobcats. And, well, we don't need to replace raccoons, and we have a mountain lion and a couple bears. Let's see, it has been only 40 minutes. My back is complaining. I think next time I'll phone it in. I can get comfortable with the phone in my hand. Yes, Tora, that's your penthouse, isn't it? Jason's cat loved dry food. Well, my cats get both. It isn't really healthy to eat nothing but dry food. Cats really do need water. I make sure that I refresh their water dish every day. I don't just add water. The cats go, ew, there's spit and cat hair in that. So I dump it out and rinse the bowl and replace it once a day. Except when I had COVID, I missed a day or two here and there. But I use what I use is a steel bowl. It's a pan with a flat bottom. It isn't going to tip over. It's just a shallow pan. Why buy a cat dish when you have something suitable? Oh, and they eat their canned food out of my grandmother's everyday china, Franciscan ware with the desert rose pattern. I just don't think it's good to have cats eating out of plastic. I don't eat out of plastic. Why should they? Oh, your kid's school? Oh, you're being singled out, Jason, because you were um, indigent and needy. Okay, see ya, Jason. Um, I was investigated twice while my son was growing up. I think I know who reported it. Someone with mental problems. And both times the social worker said, well, we interviewed your son at his school, and he knows your full name, your true age, his address, and his phone number. Well, when he was 9 years old, of course he knew all that. But the first time he'd been like 4 or 5, I think 4. Hi, Beacon. Uh, anyway, well, of course he does. I try to keep him safe. I had even had him talk to the O operator. You dial O and you get an operator. And I said, I have a 3-year-old here who wants to know what to do in an emergency. And the operator told him, you can dial this, that, or the other. I think this was before 911 when you had to actually have a phone number. So she told him, you just call the operator and tell the operator you need police or fire department or whatever. I wonder if they still have O operators. What does my phone say? Never checked out the dial pad on the cell phone. No, it doesn't say. It just has a big zero. Oh well, I might have to recycle some coffee soon, and I'm not drinking that much. When I had COVID, everything tasted weird, kind of bitter. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Teddy Roosevelt's great grandson, Kermit Roosevelt, is working on getting more thoughtful people into the humanities, social work, teaching, etc. Yeah. Okay, I am recycling coffee. It'll only take a couple minutes, so don't go away. I'll be right back. Oh, that's what Tora was watching. There's a bird chirping outside in the middle of winter, but it's a sunny day even though it's cold. Okay, I'll be back. Dum de dum, dum de dum de dum. All right, my back is making me walk really slowly. Oh, jeez. Okay, I have cracked vertebrae and compressed discs from L4 to T12 and possibly a few more in the thoracic area. I sound like, oh, Arnold. Uh, Hi, welcome back, Jason. Um, but the third time, rather than, well, I had COVID and I thought I might have cracked another bone. I did not want to go to an ER and wait hours to get a CT scan because why? I had COVID. That would have been that would have been disastrous. I self isolated at home and I didn't go out until I'd been testing negative for a week, and then I wore a mask. I can't tell you what to do, but I wasn't ill enough to seek medical help for the COVID. I just used tons and tons of Kleenex. Well, actually, I use paper napkins. Same thing, but it doesn't break as easily. We need to out that order in for cyborg replacement body. No, no, I'm not having a brain transplant, Philip. No way. And I'm not getting chipped either. Well, I haven't seen the Project Veritas video, Vegan, because YouTube shut down their channel. I suppose I might be able to find it on their own website. I don't understand why they shut down Project Veritas. Veritas means truth. Oh, yeah, truth is not allowed. And we have to use Newspeak because Big Brother is watching. Oh, it's on Twitter? Ah, interesting. Well, I'll have to check it out. Um, I don't know. I really don't do much social media except local that group for local residents that I started on Facebook. I wonder if Facebook is going to survive or whether it might go the way of the Yahoo thing. What was it called? MySpace. I think it was a Yahoo app. I don't know. Hi, Randy. And get the keyboard. Oh, man. My back hates me. I can't take pain pills. They make me vomit, so they aren't going to work anyway because they won't stay down. Once in a while, I take a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. You know, Aleve, ibuprofen, aspirin. Uh, Whatever. But those opioids, I don't think they, for me, I don't think they kill the pain. They just make me so loopy I don't care. I did manage to take Vicodin when I had a broken leg over 10 years ago, but I had to also take an antiemetic so I wouldn't vomit. And after a few days, I got rid of them because I was beginning to sense withdrawal symptoms between doses. Imbolc blessing. Hi, Oswald. Okay, gotta find the um, keyboard again. I love Great Granny's rocking chair. Tora has gone, curled up and gone to sleep. But the way cats sleep most of the time, she's got one ear pointed at me and she's obviously aware of me. Oh, Lord. I'm glad my internet is working today. YouTube is working. And I've been COVID negative for 2 weeks. But man, if you get this virus, I can't tell you what to do. But if you think you're too ill with it, seek medical advice and possibly treatment. But take it up with your doctor. Ah, Lord. Hmm. By the way, Buy Me a Coffee is working now. It's doing what it should do. Let me see. Yeah, so here's the Buy Me a Coffee link. What I really need is to win the lottery so I can pay my heating bill. There is a state program for poor people that will help with part of my bill. But even so, I cannot pay it. I managed last month with help from friends, but this month the gas company is going to have to make a deal with hundreds and possibly thousands of people. Yes, cats can catch COVID. I don't think mine did. Well, I know Sweetie didn't because I can't get near her. Sorry. Um, Tora slept with me, but, you know, down on my lap while I was asleep. Well, actually, once, see, my doctor retired and some new guys took over the practice. I haven't seen them yet, but if they refer me to the chiropractor, I can get chiropractic treatment for my back pain. Back pain is covered by my insurance. Uh, and I know the local chiropractor. I used to go to him before Obamacare. Obamacare didn't cover it, at least not for me. Um, and now the insurance I have now that I'm on Medicare will cover chiropractic for back pain. Oh, yeah. I have to ask the chiropractor whether I should use my TENS unit. I've put it off because I'm not sure that it's the right thing. You put these little square pads, you stick them on the side of the muscle that's in spasms, and you zap it with electricity to calm it down. Probably much safer than pills, but I have to get expert advice. Yes, Oswald, the bigger the pain, the bigger the jar, the bigger the pill price. I know you wrote Bruce, but I bet you meant Price. Oh, from the Scottish movie Filth. Never seen that. I've been binging on Agatha Christie audiobooks. They're all over YouTube. And I'm finding that the various movies and TV shows of Poirot changed things and took bits of different stories and put them together, or just took one subplot out of a whole movie and just did the subplot. It's fascinating. Lots of good books on YouTube, yes. And when I'm lying down because of my back or my COVID or whatever, it's good to just listen to an audiobook that you don't have to get up and watch the screen. My main, more than a concern, I guess complaint is that because they know you be away from your computer, every 5 minutes there's a commercial and an ad. And that's okay if it's 15 seconds or 30 seconds, but they'll slot in an ad that runs for half an hour. And then I have to get up and click on skip ad. If it takes you half an hour to explain your product or service, I'm not buying it anyway. Oh, wonderful woo woo books. I love woo woo. I don't necessarily believe it, but I like it. I enjoy it. And I've had a few woo woo experiences myself. Uh, Whoa, evil back. It's sunny today. Maybe it'll get warm enough to melt more of the snow. I hope so. If it gets up to at least 50 degrees, I can shut down the heater for a while. That's Fahrenheit, by the way. Room temperature in degrees Fahrenheit is 72. Oh, and I've been catching short videos about Neanderthal, especially their DNA. I am convinced that Neanderthal were humans, probably an isolated population that had a lot of inbreeding. But you see, the first skeleton that was found in the Neander Valley, Neanderthal, in Germany, was an elderly man with severe arthritis. So they thought that these were bow legged, malformed uh, creatures, more like a gorilla than a human. But he had arthritis and rickets. They've found more skeletons since then, and Neanderthal could probably walk through a crowd and nobody would notice. They might be a little taller than average, but they're definitely not the biblical giants. Let's see, Philip has some Neanderthal DNA. Yeah, we're more closely related than donkeys and horses because their offspring almost always are sterile. But once in a while, a mule will get pregnant, but it's extremely rare. It makes the network news. And it's amazing that the default gender for a mule is female. You don't see male mules. Yeah, we probably all have a tiny smidgen of Neanderthal DNA, but since they don't have the complete genetic signature of Neanderthal, there might be more. there's millions of sequences, and even if they have them now, which they might, it takes forever to plow through them, even with a computer. So, what they find in us modern humans is sequences that they are pretty sure are only in Neanderthals and not humans, but you never know. Maybe we're just that closely related. Did I get my 23andMe? Yeah. And I wasn't satisfied, so I got Ancestry as well. And I sent off those results to uh, some outfit that just does a deeper dive into your DNA for free. Of course, they keep trying to sell me an upgrade. But the thing is, I'm definitely at least half British, mostly Welsh, Scots, and Irish, but some English, so not much. Oh, goody! Ancestry is funded by the devil. Okay, well, I already sent him my money and got my results. But the weird thing is, they keep showing that I have a small amount of Greek ancestry and a tiny amount of Eastern European. Huh. I was going to eat a potato chip, but that might gross you out. I'd have to go off camera to do that. Um, wow. Oh, jeez. I've been up since 6. I actually woke up real early today. Uh, wow. Evil back is doing a tap dance on me. Muscle spasms. Tora sees something. Oh, she's jumping on Sweetie. Poor Sweetie. Tora drives her crazy. If I can't find a bug, I'll just hunt Sweetie. Poor kitty. I don't know. I got both 23andMe and Ancestry. It kind of makes sense that I share more DNA with my sister than with my brother, because we both got two X chromosomes. He got an X from mom and a Y from dad. But I was able to connect to cousins from my grandfather's second marriage. So I know from that I'm definitely dad's daughter and not from one of mom's boyfriends. Mom slept around. She really was the devil's sister. No doubt about it. Oh, your Mormon cousins traced your dad's family. Yeah, the Mormons keep sending me info. Another free source. They found Uh, the wife of my, I don't know, third or fourth great, I think third great grandfather. She was supposed to be Cherokee, but they claimed that she was white. Uh, they kind of just didn't say on his race or ethnicity, but William Van Buren Busby was black. His mother was a slave on the plantation, and he was the son of the plantation owner and his black slave. Now, the plantation owner freed his son, but I don't think he freed his slave, the my ancestor's mother. Anyway, the genetic tests did not pick up any DNA in me that was either black or Cherokee, no African. Of course, it's been quite a few generations, but even so, it went through the male line. You'd think that you'd think that at least my brother would get something from the Y chromosome from his father, but he didn't. Very interesting. Well, after a certain number of generations, Philip, it just might not be there anymore. Got replaced. You have some sub Saharan. Interesting, Philip. Sometimes, well, quite often, families in the mid 20th century, parents who knew, sorry, I got a hair. Yuck. Well, at least it's my hair and not cat hair. If they knew they had a black ancestor, they would tell their children, oh, you're part Cherokee, because they didn't want to admit to being mixed race. Yeah, black African. Yes, Philip. Interesting. Well, my black ancestor is so far back in 5 or 6 generations, it kind of makes sense that it wouldn't be there anymore. And maybe his wife was Cherokee, but that's gone too. But the Mormons said that my black ancestor married a white woman. It, it just doesn't seem possible when so many states had laws against mixed race, especially a black man with a white woman. Ah, Deacon's mostly Irish, and his mom's a cult. A Celt. Yeah, well, very interesting. I've been refreshing my memory of how the English treated the Irish. For example, during the potato famine, there was plenty of food in Ireland, but the working class could not afford to buy it. That's why they lived on potatoes, which they could easily grow until the blight hit all their potatoes. Most of the food in Ireland was exported to England, where rich people bought it. That's one of the main reasons why Jonathan Swift wrote A Modest Proposal, which of course is satire, but very serious satire. It's sort of like, why don't you just cut out the middleman and buy Irish children and slaughter them and cook them for dinner? And farmers had to pay rent to their landlords, which was usually in the form of crops or livestock, sometimes in cash. But with the potato blight and famine, they got evicted by landlords who lived in England and had no idea what was going on in Ireland. And the English stole that land from the Irish in the first place. They conquered Ireland and took all the great estates and gave them to English lords. Not much worse than an absentee landlord. Oh, Philip had an ancestor, and he was an Irish man who married an English lady, and it was scandalous. Yeah, it was at one time. Frankly, it's really a good thing. We know from animals that we've bred and you know controlled their genetics to get thoroughbreds and purebred and so forth, that the mutts, the mongrels, are much healthier. With racehorses in particular, they want their bones to be lightweight so they can run faster, but they reach a point where their bones break, and then they, in most cases, have to be put down because they can't heal. So what they do is breed back. They get what they call a grade horse. In other words, not a purebred, and they breed back to that, usually a mare with a thoroughbred stallion. And that offspring cannot be registered as thoroughbred, but the next generation can. Well, we should not be isolating human populations to come up with purebreds because they're not healthy. They just aren't. And besides, variety is one of the biggest aspects of beauty. My water's almost empty. Let me grab a potato chip and go refill my water. I'll be right back. Dum de dum. Dum de dum de dum. I'm still chewing. Hang on. This is frustrating. My filter pitcher holds a gallon, but I can't fill it up to more than a quart or I can't lift it. Hmm. Nice salty potato chip. Ah, oh boy. Ouchie. I'm smoking too much. I always do when I'm on YouTube Live. Most of the time, I don't smoke this much. Oh, happy Groundhog Day. Oh, that critter saw his shadow. 6 more weeks of winter. Well, yeah, we've got a series of storms coming in off the Pacific and down from the Arctic. It's going to be a long, cold winter. Oh, and one thing, California, at least, shut up, phone. California, at least, is, uh, they claim they're going to impose a rule that um, they cannot shut off gas service for non payment while they clean up their act in this shortage of natural gas. That would help me a great deal. And the HEAP program, I keep forgetting what HEAP stands for, but it helps with utility bills. Uh, it takes forever. Last year it paid out in April to help with my heating bills. Well, by April, I no longer needed to run the heater. It was at least 50 degrees every day. It was kind of wet and rainy, but not so cold. Oh, interesting, Philip. An Irish man fought off an attempted robber at an English home, so the family loved him, let him marry their daughter, I guess. That's a cool story. Ah, yeah. His diary would be very interesting. Oh, the Earth's core rotation apparently changes all the time. I think they said every 7,500 years. Maybe that's why the magnetic field flips. Oh, wow. Yeah, Philip has some fascinating history for sure. Well, apparently, one of Mom's ancestors married a Viking. My grandfather's last name was Foster, which comes from Forester. And in our family tree is this guy named Annaker the Forester, and he worked for um, William of Normandy. You know, William the Bastard who conquered England. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The gas company sold all their gas in December, thinking they wouldn't need it. Even the weather forecasters, who are not that reliable, were looking for a very cold winter. And Farmer's Almanac, which is generally reliable, said the same thing. It's actually been extra cold since October. which is why I don't let the cats outside because I don't want to open the door to let them in. Just stay in the house, cat. Yeah, winter starts a few days before Christmas. I think. Yeah, must be. The spring equinox is in March. Yeah. Uh, oh, my back. Oh. Leaning forward helps to stretch it out so it isn't as smushed. Ah, yeah, winter comes every year. How about that? Well, our Southern California gas company is owned by Sempra Energy. They're nationwide. But because there's a shortage, the parent company is charging humongous prices to their own subsidiary and passing it on to us consumers. Now, Tora's in the house. She isn't outside. She's in here pestering poor little sweetie pie. Yeah, my older and smarter brother did the family genealogy starting when he was about 16. He had mononucleosis, so he was homeschooled by an actual teacher who went around homeschooling students. He happened to be our uncle, Ken Busby, Dad's younger half brother from Grandpa's second marriage. Uh, I like him a lot. Anyway, Steve started doing genealogy on our family, and we could not find this one ancestor. Well, Mom deliberately provided the wrong name because he was black. Turns out my dad's grandpa couldn't pass for white, and Dad's father was passing for white. But Dad's grandpa built, well, he worked for the contractor, building houses all over these mountains. He even actually built his own cabin up here. And someday I'll be able to find it and take pictures. Uh, I have a pretty good description of the location, but they did not have street addresses back then. So I got a description of the cabin itself. If it hasn't been torn down. Aw. I don't, I don't know. Anyway, we finally got the correct name when some cousins in Texas told my brother over the internet, oh, his name was such and his mother was a black slave, and we're all black. You see, that particular ancestor of mine had 6 wives and he married some of them. At least two of his wives were Cherokee. But we have cousins in Texas. He died in Dallas, but he's buried in Los Angeles on the black side of the cemetery. Even cemeteries, even graveyards were segregated back then. Now, my grandfather on mom's side escaped from Utah, but he went to Idaho. I think it was his father who moved the family. And then my grandfather, George Foster, not any of the rich ones, darn it. Lots of rich Fosters, but not my grandfather. Uh, he escaped from Idaho to Los Angeles because he would believed he would live longer in a warmer climate, and he made it to 88. Yeah, smoking killed him, his heart quit, but he was 88 years old. Granny lived to 93. She was the non-smoker who did not allow smoking in her house. Well, 5 years is the statistical average of how much longer a woman lives compared to a man. So the 88 and 93, that's 5 years. And he wasn't doing much smoking at the end. It's safe now to know about our black cousins. Some of my cousins are Hawaiian. One of Dad's half brothers had been in the Coast Guard, and he married a Hawaiian woman around 1950 or a little mid 50s, and that was scandalous. But hey, they lived in Hawaii, they were happy, they had lots of children. When I was a very small child when I met Chuck's wife, and I thought she was standoffish, but what was really going on was that she didn't speak much English, so she was shy. Very nice woman, turns out. Oh, Irish and Jewish shouldn't intermix? Jewish really is not an ethnicity, it's a religion. And many of the Jews for generations have been people who were not really ethnic Jews, but they grew up in the faith and they were herded into ghettos because they were Jews. Nowadays, in particular, lots of people convert to Judaism. Yeah, Captain Cook was a jerk to the Hawaiians. Well, anyway, um, wow, my back is just doing a dance. Sometimes leaning back helps. Stretch it out a little so it isn't smushed. The craziest thing is it's itching, and that generally means that it's healing. itching goes with healing. But it's probably time for some Ben Gay. It's been lovely chatting with you all. I just don't know how much longer I can hold on, but I'm having a great time. Let's see. Philip has both Sephardic and Ashkenazi, and some Italian. Yeah. Well, let's see. I think the Ashkenazi are the ones who are really descended from Jacob's brother Esau. They were forced to convert, and if I remember correctly, it was around 300 BC. Anyway, before the Romans took over the Holy Land. And the Jews marched into what is basically modern Jordan and forced them all to convert and worship Yahweh. So those who know their history are still angry about that forced conversion. I'd be angry too. And yet their descendants are often still Jewish. And they're currently Eastern European. When someone says Jew, the picture in your mind is often someone who's Eastern European. But they were only a small part of the Eastern European population. Wow. In an Ashkenazi cemetery, some people had 70% or more Italian DNA in their results. Yeah. Oh, Torah has run off again. She did appear earlier in the video, but she has cabin fever. Yeah. Hi, HB. Here's a link. You can buy me a coffee. Or, I have a GoFundMe, but I don't have the link at the moment. I'm really winding down. I advise you never to get a broken back. It takes forever to heal. Now, Dad was 33 or 4, I think, when he broke his back. And it took 2 or 3 years to heal, and it was never the same. But he broke his back in a toboggan accident. I was on the same toboggan. And anyway, what he suffered was much more severe. He had broken bones. I have cracked bones. The first time I must have lifted something that was too heavy. The second time I was on the recliner chair with my cat on top of the blanket, and I had to get up, and I twisted funny. Christianity in Ireland? There is a tradition that just might be true. They say that the first Christian chapel in England was built by Jesus himself. And most scholars take that as a metaphor. But what if it was true? Well, the ancient people got around a lot more than you think. Here's Torah. Say hi to your adoring fans. Here's the tail, and there's the face. Okay, good girl. Now get off me, you're heavy. Jesus, you must weigh 20 pounds now. Oh, Lord. All right. Yeah, you said hi to your fans, so you get treats. Will you hold still? I can't give you treats if I can't find you. There, here. Silly cat. Pelagius is an Irish theologian from the 1400s who disagreed with Saint, I think you mean Augustine, on babies and original sin. It should be Saint Pelagius instead of Saint Augustine. Thank you, Philip. Well, original sin is simply that we are capable of sinning. And it's a condition, not an illegal action. I mean, if you got the flu, you got the flu, right? Doesn't say anything about your character. But sin is why we have the law. And as far as I'm concerned, the law is the Ten Commandments. And at least I am not ruled by the commandments of Moses. He was, after all, a man, a prophet and all that, but a man, not God. St. Paul discusses this in detail uh, somewhere in the New Testament. I forget where. If Phil were here, he could tell me. No, I've never met an evil baby either. But all humans are capable of violating the law. And Jesus said, and I really love this, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. That is the whole of the law. So, the biggest sin, of course, is to worship other gods. Oh, they excommunicated Pelagius. Now, well, St. Augustine, I don't have much use for him. And anyway, named himself after a Roman emperor. Look up August, not the month, the adjective. It's really the height of sinful pride to call yourself August. Oh, my back. My evil, bad back. When the pain gets really bad, I get nausea. Well, when the devil accuses you of sin, you're supposed to rebuke the devil. It's like, go away. I'm a child of God, not the devil. Sin at its basis is not something you do. it's your character. Jesus said it's just as sinful to want another man's wife or cow or money as it is to actually steal it. But that isn't going to get you condemned to hell. The real problem is if you reject God, you don't want to be with God. Okay, when you die, you can go someplace where God isn't there. It doesn't mean that you're going to burn in hell. Yeah, I guess you could, you might, but you don't have to. Yeah, the Orthodox don't follow Augustine. Frankly, though, both Catholic and Orthodox churches make me nervous because of all the iconography, the statues, the paintings, the stained glass windows. We're supposed to worship the Creator, not things we made with our hands. So they worry me in that they seem to be pagan. And that goes for the Anglican and Episcopal churches too. Okay, so they don't have the Pope or the Queen as the heads of their churches, but they're still real big on burning incense and having stained glass windows and statues and stuff. Oh, and by the way, I was at a high church once for the funeral of a friend. They must have bought the cheapest incense they could find. It stunk. It was awful. And this church was not poor. They had plenty of money. Oh, horrible. When this goes up as a replay, there will be links in the description this time, one for PayPal and one for Buy Me a Coffee. I can't monetize my channel. Google hates me. And I probably don't have enough subscribers anyway. I cannot, get on every day and talk for an hour and all this stuff. And I don't do clickbait. I just talk with my friends here. Um, Sorry, my heating pad was falling off. Oh, V, can you? Oh, the Jehovah's Witnesses. They're weird. And they mistreat women. Yeah, icons for people who couldn't read, but in a modern church in the United States with a bunch of rich people, uh, there's a lot of controversy as to whether Mormons are real Christians and whether Jehovah's Witnesses are real Christian. Well, I don't know. I'm a Baptist. Haven't been to church in ages. Not once during COVID. Oh, our emergency is supposed to end in March. This latest variant apparently is real easy to catch, but generally not life threatening. Um, I don't know. Oh, sorry. I still don't have my full energy since COVID. But now I don't know what you should do if you get COVID, but since my primary complaint was a runny nose, I used over the counter cold. It worked for me, but I just lost energy like crazy. And I couldn't eat for a while. I tried and I just couldn't. Oh, Philip Blair is Asperger's autistic. Okay. Well, um, I know I'm smoking too much. By the way, typical smokers drag the smoke down into their lungs. I don't do that. Yuck. I puff on them. I burn cigarettes. And sure, I breathe in some of the smoke, but I'm not dragging it down. Oh, HB is a bad Lutheran. Probably worse than Orthodox. Well, I had a bad experience with a Missouri Synod Lutheran church, but in general, you see, other Lutherans don't like the Missouri Synod. My main problem was they focused on works and not on faith. Ah, Lord, my brain is getting foggy. And St. Paul said we are saved by faith, not by works. And James, the brother of Jesus, said faith without works is dead. But he didn't mean that, or at least the way I see it, it does not mean that good works will save you. What it means is that if you really do have faith, this will motivate you to do good works. Uh, yeah, well, Joseph P. Farrell says that if he ever joined a church, he would join the Orthodox Church because their doctrine is sound, unlike the Catholic Church, which we won't discuss right now because just cuz. Yeah, good works are the fruit of faith. They don't save you. We're getting close to 2 hours, and I'm getting close to needing to slather on some Bengay and maybe take an anti-inflammatory. Okay, I really enjoy my wonderful chat room. So let's see. Thank you all for listening and have a great day. Oops, there's a Y on the end of day. Uh huh. Typo City here. No, no, not hive. Evil spell checker. Have. Uh, Hope you all have a wonderful day, week, month, and year. Yes, Philip, by their fruit ye shall know them. I shy away from business who advertise that they're Christian because that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to do business with them. Yeah, Tora says meow. Catch you guys another time, but I really gotta go. See ya. Bye.